Hey, this is Scott, and Ryan and I had a few more insights that we wanted to share with you concerning the fraying of cables and some other stuff about these particular products. So the first thing is the best way to prevent cable fraying is just to not have the cable end exposed so it can't fray. This is AGS solution for wood posts, and this all you do is cut the cable, slide it in the hole, and crimp it so it's in there, it can't fray. He mentioned heat shrink tubing. This is heat shrink tubings, and you know, if that whole setup is acceptable for you, then that's something you could do. This was the sleeve. You slide a sleeve over the end of the exposed cable here and crimp it, and that could keep you from experiencing the negatives of frayed cables. Again, I said this is the best solution. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is safety. And so if you see here, this eye was originally not closed right here. So this is welded. That's good. Right here, there's some porosity in the weld. That's bad. That brings back the more potential for corrosion. Over here, this eye is open. That's not good. This eye is open. That's not good. So you want this welded. I don't like the hook concept at all myself. All of that's annoying enough, but the real problem is this. There's no jam nut right here. So your grandchildren are going to come along on your deck, and this, I'm just barely touching this. Look at this. Look at that. From correct tension to loose jam nuts. AGS products all have a jam nut on them, so this barrel is locked in place on both sides, so it can't come loose on either side. All right. Same thing here. So this is a deck toggle. The barrel have a jam nut on each side. Of course, I should tighten that up. This is a lag terminal. This is the tensioning end of this setup. This is the other end, lag terminal, deck toggle. This is the most elegant solution right here. I think it's the most elegant if you have access to the outside of the posts. And if you look here, so here's the tensioning nut, and this acorn nut locks against that tensioning nut and acts as a jam nut there, so it can't come loose. Again, it's jam nut or grandchildren. As far as appearance goes, you know, to me, this is just sleek. Our cable is sleeker too. So this is what I bought off of Amazon. You see it's got more and finer strands, which incidentally, back to the frayed thing, they're more likely to be poking out here and jab your finger because of the finer strands are easier to bend. The AGS cable is just got a heavier gauge wire for the strands, less strands, and then it's electropolished. So this, to me, you can see this has a more of a coarse look. This has a shiny polished look. As far as the actual installation look, to me, this is the best. You know, I don't like this at all. Either one of these really. My next choice would be this, both for appearance and for ease of installation. This is the next easiest to install compared to this. All right, so I like this look the best. Right, to my mind, the easiest installation method is to use regular cable fittings. After you drill all your holes through the posts, you just crimp the cable fittings onto the cable, insert them through the posts, put your nuts on there, and tension. The second easiest one to me is using deck toggles. You pilot drill 2 holes, put the screws in, and put the cable into the fitting and crimp it, and then tension. These ones, it's a little more difficult. This particular one is a lot more difficult. This one's a little more difficult. This one, it took 2 people for us to get this put on here, and I actually had a hard time getting it even to where I was happy with it at all. I have to loosen it up so it'll turn the way I want it. Crud. All right, it's going to be loose just so I can illustrate it. All right, so the problems here are trying to get this clamp tight enough to the eye, so this inside part here is called an eye, that you hold the cable tight into the crotch of the eye. If it's not tight enough on the eye, it can pop off and your cable is loose because of that also. So it took two of us, two adults, adult males is what I had, and this is kind of a small space to get 4 adult male hands into. So additionally, I had to grind the tip of the socket because the nuts are so close together there. The only way you could get around the socket was that. That's nothing new to me. When I worked at Boeing building 747s, I had to modify a number of tools, sockets, and box end wrenches and things to get them in the spot to tighten the nut. All right, so that's the installation issue on this one. This is a pain in the rear. This one's easier. I did this one with help. I did this one all by myself. So I still am not happy with it. I still would have wanted this cable sleeve up further against the eye to tighten up that so there's less of a chance of this popping off of the eye and the cable instantly becoming loose. All right. So another thing you might take into consideration when you're installing this cable is if you come out of a post, out of a wood post, and you change direction, whether you're coming sideways or whether you're going downstairs or something, you should consider putting a cable sleeve in these holes right here it basically reinforces the hole and doesn't let the cable dig into the hole and make the cable loose. All right, the next thing is maintenance. And so you want to do 2 things, essentially clean it and passivate it. So cleaning, use a non-chlorinated cleaner of some sort. So car wash is great for that. And then passivating, what passivating does is it restores the optimal chromium surface on the stainless steel. So 316 stainless has more chromium than does 304, but even there, you know, periodic passivating is important. If you're in a humid environment, I would passivate the 304 more often. So that's it.